All right. Well, this week, I believe it was on Monday, we were doing businesses that day, and because there was only one leader available at that time, Daryl was the leader, and he was gone. So we were basically on our own for a little bit, and I was walking around business and getting a lot of rejections, and a lot of people saying, no, I don't have time for this, no, I need to go, to work, or I need to buy my groceries and stuff. And so I was like, oh man, I was getting a little bit discouraged. But as I was in this plaza, I was walking up, and I saw a car door, and it was open. And I was like, all right, Lord, be with me as I go and talk to this person. I walk in, I walk up to the car, there's a man sitting there. And normally when I canvas people, I start with a health book. But that day I started with a spiritual book, the answer book. And I handed it to him, and I began to canvas him. And he just stares at the book and just turning the pages. He just starts laughing. And I look at him kind of confused, like, why are you laughing? It's so funny. And he tells me, he's like, it's so interesting that you come on the one day that I have so many questions. I'm wondering so much things, about like religion and stuff. And he's like, and you come and you give me this book.
Amen.
So we started talking a little bit more. He's like, you know what? I want this book. He's like, how much is it? So I gave him the range, and he's like, I don't have any cash. He's like, but I'm gonna look for an ATM. And so I thought he was gonna tell me to, go away and come back later on. But he's like, no, follow me. He's like, let's look for an ATM together. And so we started going in and out of businesses, looking for an ATM. And during the whole time, we're talking. And he's telling me a little bit more about like the questions that he has and things that he's wondering. And as he's talking, I'm like, okay, so he needs a DVD that we have, The Odyssey, and he needs another book, The Great Controversy. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, so he needs these 3 books to help him, find the answers that he is looking for. And finally, we find the ATM, and he begins, taking our money. And so I'm behind here, make sure not to see anything. And as he's getting out money, I immediately show him The Odyssey and The Great Controversy. And I'm like, these 2 will help you along with the other book to really find, the answers to the questions that you are looking for. And so he's nodding, he says, oh, okay. And so he just gives me a generous donation, a full donation for all 3 books. And we continue talking, having this really deep conversation. And once before I leave, he once again tells me, he's like, you were sent here for a reason. He's like, I'm glad that you came here on the same day I needed, to have the answers for these. And so that just taught me, that God is always leading, putting us in the place that we need to be, leading us to the right people.
Amen.